They say this is a big rich town. Yeah, I just come from the poet's pod. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it. Hello, what's up, YouTube world? It is your girl Dana Monet here, and I have decided to begin to recap one of my favorite shows ever, Power. And I've been reluctant to do it because I don't really recap like scripted shows. I do like the music shows like American Idol and The Voice, but I have to. I'm so into this show, like I just have to share my thoughts. So I'm going to do a rundown on what happened on season 3, episode 4, which is titled Don't Worry, Baby. That's a title right there. I like that. Okay, so without any further ado, we're just going to jump right on into it. So the first scene, you see Tasha and Angela. Tasha's in her apartment, Angela's in her apartment, but they're showing them back and forth, like, getting ready, and, they're showing their bodies. And I don't know if they're doing that to kind of like compare them or whatever physically, but I guess just kind of showing both of Ghost's women. I don't know. Whatever. And Tasha is on the phone talking to Ghost. Ghost is in Angela's apartment, but he's in the bathroom talking to Tasha on the phone. And Tasha is talking about how, she's planning on volunteering at the school, being a good like PTA mom and everything like that, because she need to keep her eye on that Tariq. And talking about him getting counseling. And, she said something about how I can take him to school, but you got to pick him up. And Ghost is like, I got to do this and that and the third. And Tasha is like, you need to get your priorities straight. You need to stop putting stuff before these kids. And especially with Tariq, that little boy needs guidance. He needs his father. He needs his parents. You know what I mean? And Tasha's like, you can see the kids as much as you want to, just as long as they're not at Angela's. And, yeah, that sounds about right. And Angie kind of overhears a little bit of their conversation. And after Ghost is done talking to Tasha on the phone, Angie is like saying that she wants the kids to come back over. And I'm like, why? Like, are you serious? Because Tasha's afraid that Raina going to end up bringing like I forget what she said, some knife or some blade or something home or whatever. And I'm just like, them kids do not need to be back in that apartment. And then Angela makes it known that Paz is going to come over for dinner. So we haven't seen Paz in a while, so I'll be happy to see, Paz and, Paz. I'm here for Paz. So then the next scene shows Holly and Tommy having sex because, what else do they do? But it seemed like they were a little bit preoccupied while doing it, obviously, because they're thinking about so many things. She's pregnant. She ain't tell him yet. He's thinking about, should I kill Ghost? Should I kill Lobos? I don't know what I'm going to do, for obvious reasons. And I just have to say that when Tommy, had his big, he like spit. I thought that was a little nasty, but moving right along. Tommy says Holly needs to call Tasha because they need to, get the money to the bank or whatever they need to do. They need to sign some papers because, they're doing this illegal shit and they're trying to make it legal. You know what I mean? So, there's work to be done there. And Tommy tells Holly he did end up meeting Ghost instead of Tariq because she asked about how Tariq was doing. And of course, Holly is mad that she didn't take Ghost out. And he was like, I ain't have my piece on me because I thought I was going to go see Tariq. And I'm thinking like, Tommy, don't you always have your piece on you? Like, I don't care if you just going around the corner to the corner store. Like, I feel like Tommy always has his gun. So I felt like that was, a bullshit excuse. She suggests hiring someone to kill him since she feels that Tommy can't do the job. So while that whole scene is going on, I'm just a little bit taken aback at how like they just got done having sex and he just threw his clothes on and just left. Like he didn't even like wash himself a little bit. Like just get a little bird bathing, or is that something only women do? Men can do bird baths, right? I just needed him to clean that a little bit. So he leaves and he's going to go see the Koreans. And then, Holly is debating whether she wants to keep the baby, calling like Planned Parenthood or something like that, clinic, trying to set up an appointment to discuss her options. So then we back in DC and we got Jukebox talking to her whole squad, including Kanan, about this jewelry heist that they're about to do. Well, actually, Kanan comes in later because he thinks, he's that nigga, so he should be, doing everything. So he feels like he should be the leader and he should be the one to grab the jewelry. And Jukebox is like, nah, I make the decision because I am the boss. And we know that, yes, Jukebox is in fact the boss. So don't mess with her. And Jukebox is like, I need to make sure your hands work. He's still using that thing for exercise his hand or whatever the case may be. And she's like, you probably can't even jerk off. So, they leave the room and, here come Candy. I mean, Candy has her, what's the word I'm looking for? She has her uses. I'll say that much. So, she has to make sure that 50's hands work or whatever. So, she takes her top off and, tries to get all to the like. She actually doesn't really do anything except for take her top off. So it just goes to show that men don't really need much to do that. And, he's looking at her all wide-eyed and think he about to get some. And she's like, no, this is about your hands. You need to make sure your hands work. You know what I mean? So, he do what he do. And then she like, well, if you're going to be doing that, I'm going to have a little fun too. So he used the other hand to, you get the idea. We all adults here, right? So, she goes and tells Jukebox both of his hands work. And, I guess that's Jukebox's decision that he's ready to go ahead and do the job. And then we have, going into the next scene, Ghost having a meeting with his security guy in his office, who says no one's been following you because he's been watching, Tasha's apartment and everything like that. But I feel like he's not stupid. Like, he knows that there's something else. There's like another reason why Ghost wants a personal detail on him and not just in the club. But obviously Ghost is just like, it's just club business. And, he's so, like, he thinks everybody around him is stupid. So that's how I think. But Ghost is like, I think I'm going to need you a little bit longer. And he's probably going to need him a little bit longer than that and then some. So then we go to, Angela at Tasha's apartment building. She's sitting in the lobby and I'm like, ooh, snap. Another Tasha and Angela encounter. I kind of live for these because I just be like, ooh, what's going to happen? So Tasha walks in all happy and giggling and she sees Angela and she's like, I mean, what else can you do? So she asks, is Ghost in jail? Is he dead? Because she assumes if Angela is showing up at her apartment, something done happened to him. And Angie is like, no. And she explains that, she felt really bad about what happened to Tariq. She knows he's a good kid. So she got his record expunged. And me personally, I'm like, why did he get a record just for bringing the gun to school? Is that, clue me in? Because I don't know that you get a record for just like bringing a gun. They know who it was registered to. Like, they know it was associated. I don't know. So maybe, I guess, whatever. Anyway, so, Angie is like, she felt bad. And, Tasha's like, and Angie is like, this is the least I could do. And Tasha's like, yeah, the least you could do. And Tasha's like, you didn't do it for Tariq. You didn't do it for me. You did it for Ghost. And as long as you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing for Ghost for the rest of your life. And, truer words have never been spoken because that is definitely the truth. So, then it goes to Tommy at the Koreans and you see Dylan over there thinking and he shakes Tommy's hand with this cut off finger and stuff like that. And, he ready to plot something. And then we go to Medina at Greg's apartment, and Medina says that he found Ruiz. And I'm kind of like shocked because I really wasn't expecting for them to find him this quickly. I didn't think the FBI was going to find him. I was thinking the people on the street was going to find him or something like that. But we find out that Ruiz is in San Diego. So I even thought he was hiding out in New York somewhere. He actually did go to California. So everybody who thought that he was still hanging out in New York, he really did go to California with his family. And Greg says if Ruiz takes the deal, we finally have someone to testify against Lobos. But then he stops himself because he knows Medina doesn't know that Lobos is still alive. And I'm actually kind of surprised that Greg knows he's still alive because Greg has been suspended. But, whatever. Greg, be up on the ship. So, and then he says, testify against Ghost or whatever, which he's saying is Tommy Egan or whoever, which we know is not Tommy, but whatever. Okay, so then next, Ghost and Angela are at Angela's apartment, and Ghost is cooking dinner. Ghost always cooks dinner because Angie doesn't know how to cook because she doesn't have time to cook. She's always at work. She's buried in her work. When people are buried in their work, they don't really cook like that. So I guess he's fine. I don't really cook like that. So, whatever. I guess I'm like Angela and Holly in that sense, like whatever, so, but Ghost is cooking, and then he confronts Tasha. He confronts Angela about going to go see Tasha, and he is just flabbergasted that she took it upon herself to go to Tasha's apartment and talk to her about getting Tariq's record expunged. And, I'm not entirely mad that Angela decided to be, woman to woman, face to face, admit her faults and say that she was sorry to Tasha and do what she felt that she could do as, working for a Department of Justice to get Tariq's record expunged. Like, I don't think it was anything wrong with her doing that. That was like on her own accord. So Ghost is like, you need to tell me if you're going to do anything, especially if it involves my wife. And she's like, oh, so now she your wife, Ghost? Now she's your wife? And Angela's not having it. Angela's like, first of all, he never even refers to Tasha as his wife. So that's kind of the first thing that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? But, Angela's like, she had good intentions and everything like that. And, we just know that Ghost and Tasha ain't never gonna get no divorce. It's just a hot mess. I'm like, Ghost claims her when it's convenient. So Paz comes in because they're about to have dinner, and Angela goes in the back, I guess, to like put her briefcase away or whatever. And it's like awkward tension between her and Ghost, and then she, looks at the I guess the rent slip, and she sees that Ghost paid the rent for Angie. And Angie's like, why would you do that? Because she doesn't want Ghost taking care of her financially because she wants to feel like she got it. And I just have to say that rent was $3,500. And that's a 1-bedroom apartment. Imagine how much the rent is for Tasha and Ghost's penthouse every month. Like, New York is expensive, okay? So I just had to say that. So we going into the next scene, and Tasha is sitting down with Tariq, explaining to him, that he's going to be going into counseling, and, you got to know what to say and what not to say, and, just answer the questions. Don't say any more or any less than what you know or whatever. She has to remind him we're not like other families. Tariq does say that he's sorry. She says that we're not like other families, but I still don't think that Tariq knows really what his dad used to do. I say does because I feel like he's going to get back into the drug thing. But essentially, Tasha is wrapped in it too now. So I don't think he knows about what his parents like really have done to be able to give him this amazing lifestyle. Like, I still don't think that he knows. So now we're going to the next scene, and we're back at Angela's apartment. And Paz is sitting there chopping it up, bringing up the old neighborhood, and asks if he still hangs out with anybody from the old neighborhood, like Tommy Egan. And Ghost is like, no, we've been out of touch, or, he lying. And Angela's like, I ain't going to say nothing about that. Then Ghost asks her about her kids. And then she asks him, how are your kids taking, the divorce? And of course, Ghost and Angie are sitting there like, And, Angie is like, he's working on it. And I am like, Angie, You were just spitting lies because you know he is not working on it. He is not trying to divorce Tasha. And Paz can see right through this mess. And she's like, that's bullshit. And, Ghost starts talking to her about her son and offers him a job at the club and stuff like that. And of course, Paz says no because she's like, if it doesn't work out with you and my sister, then I don't want to be having any awkward, situations with him still working for you, So then we go to Kanan and them robbing the jewelry store. They on a jewelry heist and everything like that. And, the dude with the curly hair that was in the last episode that was helping rob the drugstore or whatever is actually the employee. So they had to have an insider. They steal the stuff. And Kanan shoots him, which I don't really understand why he shoots him. I think he just shoots him because he don't like him and he thinks he's, in the words of Kanan, a bitch ass nigga. So I guess that's why he shoots him. Kanan doesn't need a reason to shoot him, but Kanan's just reckless and he'll shoot whoever. So, Jukebox is right there and she calls it and throws them off and says that it's 4 white males in the black SUV instead of 4 black males. So then we go to Angela's at work and she's talking to her boss, Mike, and she's like, I have a break in the case. And she was going through the files from Cali and there's the wife of someone that's involved. And she was looking at her financial records and seeing how before she didn't really have that much money, living modestly. Now she's like living large and she wants to interview this particular woman. So I'm hoping that we find out who this woman is, who this woman's attached to. I'm feeling like that's Mike's wife or something like that. That's what I feel because he gets his panties all in a bunch and goes to one of his burner phones and texts an unknown number that we have a problem. And then he turns his phone like right off. So you know that that's like some real secretive mess. So then we are with Dre and Ghost talking in the club and then they meet Karen Bassett. And I just think that Dre was a little bit out of line. He was like, you look banging in that dress. I mean, maybe you could say you look really nice or you look beautiful. Like, be a little bit more professional with that. She's explaining to Ghost, she's like, well, I should say James St. Patrick, that no one knows who you are. You know what I mean? You need to get out on social media because that's how businesses work these days. And you need to go, pound the pavement and everything like that. And, Ghost says his brand is about a mystery of him. And she's like, she can't sell a ghost. And I was like, the irony. So next we go to a scene with Ruiz and he's like working as a janitor or something in this restaurant. And he now goes by the alias of Armando Garcia. And Greg comes in and Ruiz is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Armando Garcia. I don't know who this Ruiz guy is. And, he keeps on, kind of probing him and saying stuff. And he's trying to convince him to testify. And he says that, Lobos has guys on him about ready to, pop him or whatever. So he needs to, in order to save his life, he needs to get out of there and come back and testify. And, we could cut him a deal and, all of that stuff, which I don't think that he actually has hitters on him. But, Greg has to use his tactics to get what he wants. That's what all these people do at the Department of Justice. And he actually offers Ruiz the opportunity to get his life as a drug kingpin back. Like, if you testify and you do what we need to do, then you can go right back on the streets and do what you was doing, which is, pretty bold. So we have the next scene with Tasha, Holly, and Tommy and Tariq. They're all at Tasha's house. And, of course, Tommy's in there wanting some food and wishing that Holly could cook. And, she's like, I got other skills. And then, Tasha peeps her pouring out the wine. And Tasha knows she's pregnant and she sees her about to cry for no reason. And she's like, oh, crap. And, I know the feeling, about to cry for no reason. And, Tommy is over there talking to Tariq, trying to be a good uncle. And Tariq just wants his parents to be real, especially Ghost. And I'm like, yes, please tell this little kid the truth because he is going to go on the wrong path if y'all keep on lying to this little boy. And he talks about how Ghost does whatever he wants, which... that is absolutely true. He ain't never lie about that. But Tommy is like, your father loves you, but at the end of the day, I do have your back. You know what I'm saying? And, Tasha and Holly are in the bathroom and Tasha is like, you pregnant? Do you know what this life is about? Every time he walks out of that door, you got to think about the possibility of him not coming back. And she's like, you haven't even told him? You can't not tell him. So Tasha's like, Holly's got to tell him. And I'm like, Holly, please tell Tommy. Please tell him before it's too late. Like, I just have a real bad feeling about this. I thought she was going to tell him in this episode. And now I'm feeling like she won't tell him as soon as I would like for that to happen. Let me see here. She implies that, Tasha implies that she needs to tell him quick because we know how crazy Tommy is, especially when he get that coke up in his system. So, she need to let him know ASAP. So then we see Ghost partying up at the club with his guests and acting all like, woo, in that EDM music. And then Holly and Tommy are back at Tommy's apartment and they're talking about, killing Ghost and getting the Jamaicans involved. And Tommy is still stalling and stuff like that. And Holly was about to tell him that she's pregnant. But then he left because he was mad because he felt like she don't believe in him and all this type of stuff. I'm like, Holly, if you don't just blurt out, I'm pregnant. Like, I just need her to just do that. Like, I don't understand why they do this type of stuff on TV. Like, somebody's about to say something and they're like, and then to be like, I'm leaving. Like, that's what they always do on TV. But anyway, now we're back. I believe we're back in DC and Candy and we're back in DC at Jukebox house. That Jukebox house, Candy and Kanan, and he gives her a piece of jewelry that he stole. And she says, Jukebox gives me everything I need. And then he says everything because, he a dude and she a woman and, women can't you get the idea. So they proceed to have sex. So he had to, get that out of his system. And then the next scene, back at Angela's job, and Mike introduces Greg back onto the task force because he found Ruiz. And Angie is sitting there. She is pissed. She is like, oh my gosh, you brought stalker Greg back up in here. And Greg is like, I can convince him to give us the whole network. And when Angela hears that, she is like, oh shit, my Jamie is in trouble. You know what I mean? And she can't even think straight. And then we have Tasha and Lakeisha at Tasha's house, and they gossiping about some girls in the salon. And Tasha admits she doesn't know who she is without Ghost, which is kind of sad, this particular monologue that she says. She's like, he decorated the house. He told her how to dress, how to keep her hair. Like, she kind of lost her identity when she got with Ghost, and she got with him, when she was so young. She probably didn't really have an identity. But Keisha sees through that. Keisha knows that she's a bad bitch. And I concur because Tasha is. And Keisha is appalled to find a gun in Tasha's purse. She's like, what you doing with this gun up in my salon and stuff? And, Tasha's like, it's just for protection. Your salon is not exactly in the best neighborhood or whatever the case may be. So she lying. But then, she explains to Keisha, and Keisha's like, all right, just keep it out of sight of the kids and everything like that. And Keisha's like, are you sure it's not anything else? Because Keisha's starting to get suspicious, and I think that's going to be a problem going forward. And I was always going back and forth trying to know, does Keisha know about Ghost being a big time drug dealer? Like, I was going back and forth because I thought she knew because she called him Ghost. Because I know Big Mama knew, but I thought Keisha knew, but now I don't think that she knew at all about them dealing drugs. I don't think that she knows. So the next scene, we have Dre back in the hood at the soul food spot, Rib Shack, whatever it's called. And the guy that his boy in there lets Dre know that the Koreans, aka Dylan, wants to kill Tommy for ratting him out and forcing him to cut his finger off. I still can't look at that. So we go and we see Ghost at the club, and we see Dre call him, and Dre is like, yo, you need to help Tommy. Tommy is in danger, and them Koreans is gonna kill him tonight at the church. And Ghost tells him to go back to the club, and Ghost tries to call Tommy, which is dumb because we know that Tommy don't want to talk to that man, and he won't answer. So Ghost decides to go by himself, and we see Tommy at the church. And he's talking to the priest in the confessional. And he's like, the priest is like, do you have anything you want to confess to? And Tommy is like, cut the shit, just give me my money. And Tommy asked him about what he was supposed to do. So he's kind of opening up to the priest. And he's like, I was supposed to do something. I don't know if I could do it. And the priest is just keeping it real. It's like, I already know you broke the first commandment, thou shalt not kill. And, the priest is like, it's not so much of what you trying to do, it's about who it is. And he's like, God sometimes answers prayers in a different way than what he wants us to. And he's asking him like, who is this going to hurt if you don't do it? And, it's kind of like things that get Tommy thinking. So he walks out of the church and it's dark out and everything. And the Koreans, they shoot at Tommy. He has nowhere to go but behind the car, and he's stuck. And I'm like, poor Tommy. Like, I know he's not going to die, but I'm just like, I want him to go out like that. He obviously needs security himself. He needs backup. Like, where is Julio at? Like, where is Julio to back him up and his other boys or whatever? So Ghost comes out of nowhere and go pop, pop, pop. And he runs. So Tommy doesn't see that it's Ghost that basically saves his ass, saves his life. And, and the security dude is looking like, this dude is not telling me the whole truth. That security dude is like, yo, you involved in this stuff, I'm going to need more money or else it's going to be more problems. So he's definitely going to confront Ghost about that. Then next we see Jukebox and Kanan, and they in the strip club. And she's like, it's time for you to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's healthy. He's back on his feet. He got some money now that he did that jewelry heist. And you not messing with my girlfriend no more. So it's time for you to bounce. I don't need you here no more. And they start talking about, he says he's going to go and pop Ghost. He's just going to murk him or whatever. And she's like, I think killing Ghost is too easy. I think he's worth more alive than dead. And this was one of the things that I predicted. I was like, I don't think that they're just going to go for just the killing of Ghost or whatever. And that's definitely Jukebox's influence, because she in law enforcement, she's smart and clever. Kanan always just want to pop somebody. She thinks things through. She said, what did Ghost really take away from you? Maybe you need to change your plan. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he's going to think about a plan to put Ghost in jail, like Ghost put him in jail, And next we see Holly and Tommy at the apartment, and Holly sees his arm and she gets hella nervous and she's like, who did it? And he says he couldn't see, it was dark, but he says it's Lobos. And I don't know if he really believes that that was an attempt by Lobos. He probably does, because he couldn't see who it was. So, it's logical that they could both assume that it was Lobos' attempt, because, Lobos told him to kill Ghost and he hasn't done it yet. And then she says, don't worry, baby. And she's like, sure, and everything's going to be fine. She talks about how she's going out and to get him some bandages or some peroxide, but she's really going to them Jamaicans, because she's like, I need to take matters into my own hands. And she still does not tell Tommy that she is pregnant, which is bothering the crap out of me. So then we see Ghost taking selfies in the club with Karen. Like, he's like the selfie king of Instagram or something now. And it's like nothing happened. Like, he didn't just go pop 3 of them Koreans. It's like, doesn't even matter. So then we see Angela in her office, and she's talking to Sax about Greg bringing back the star witness. And, Angie's there, she's thinking. And then we go back to her in her apartment, and she's drinking and thinking. And then Ghost comes into her apartment, and neither of them wants to talk about their day, because it's just a mess on both ends, and they have no trust, no honesty. Like, they're going to be the death of each other, the demise of each other, because they don't tell each other important things. And Angie says she doesn't think that they're going to make it. So that's the first honest thing that she said in a long time. And she's like, they never see each other. She's like, I'm never home. You're never home. And he's still not divorced. You know what I mean? But she should have known he wasn't going to get a divorce. But that's a story for another day. She says it's not just pause, it's just everything that's going on. And Ghost says that he's not letting her go, which was really telling to me that he is really, like, Ghost is really in this. He's really in this, and he's trying to be in this for the long haul. And I don't know how that's going to pan out, but we'll see. So then the last scene, we have Holly going to the Jamaicans, a restaurant, because she wants to hire the Jamaican dude, to kill Ghost. And now that Ghost is all over social media now, it's not hard to, find a picture of him. And then, it's like, I'm looking for this guy, James St. Patrick. And then it goes off. And I'm like, this is going to be serious. Because it's like, that he's not really going to die. But that there's going to be an attempt. And Tommy is definitely going to be pissed because you look in the previews and she's like, I did what you should have done a long time ago. And, you know, he's basically probably going to have to stop what I'm predicting. He's probably going to have to stop the Jamaicans from killing Ghost, I think, because I think that he's thought long and hard about the situation, and ultimately he doesn't want Ghost to die. He doesn't want to kill him, and he doesn't want anybody else to kill him. I think that he really does believe now that the best thing to do is to kill Lobos. On the other side of things, Angie tells Ghost, like, yo, you're going to need an attorney, like, ASAP. And Ruiz is about to spill all the tea and all the beans, and I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he has up his sleeve. Is he going to give up everybody? Is he going to give up one person? Proctor is looking at it. Proctor is like, he's going to give up somebody. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he gives up Ghost and, you know, and keeps Tommy quiet, or he might not even give up Lobos. He might just give up. I don't know what he's going to do. And this is real far-fetched, and I don't think this is going to happen, but only because he was talking to him before everything went down with Tommy getting arrested last season. Maybe he'll, I don't know, give up Kanan. Maybe he'll do, I don't know. I don't know what Ruiz is going to do. I didn't even know he was going to be back this soon. So I'm kind of taken aback about that. And everybody else was always so quiet and they didn't snitch or whatever. And he's about to snitch. Like, he's breaking the street code rules. So we're going to see what happens with that. But I was like, I don't know. Everything is going to come crashing down on everybody. Like, by the end of the season, everybody's going to be a mess. Like, people are going to be injured. People are going to be dead. People are going to be emotionally and physically and mentally drained. It is going to be a hot mess on this show. But it's like the best hot mess ever. So that is my review for Power Season 3, Episode 4, Don't Worry, Baby. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope to continue doing these Power reviews. Sorry I didn't start at the beginning of the season, but, you know, you get in where you fit in. So until next time, see you later.